Good morning. We are in the Spanish countryside, leaving Hospital de Bruma, and we're surrounded by farmland. We've got bales over here, got some sheep following us. They've got their own wee area away from the crops, and corn, loads of other crops over here, and the farmer was getting his tractor going in the shed over there. And another day in Galicia, Spain, and a bit overcast, but this is generally how the day starts. It's overcast, and then give it a couple of hours and it's sun hat and sun cream time. So this doesn't really last, but it's nice and cool and fresh. But in a couple of hours it'll be suffocating. It gets to the point where your breath, it just takes your breath away, the heat. But you get used to it. So Hospital de Bruma, there's the farmer over there. He's getting his tractor out. Looks like he's got a bale on the back of it. And Hospital de Bruma is 14-15 miles from Sigüeiro, and there's a small village in between called Rua. It's about 5 miles, so 5 miles to Rua, another 10 miles to Sigüeiro, and then from Sigüeiro we are 10 miles to Santiago. So these last couple of stages are going to be have a couple of 10 milers in on it. There's another farmer down there to tend his fields. I guess the farmer's got to get up early to get everything going before the heat kicks in. And another thing with the farmers, they're very old school. All of the farmers I've seen, they all have a shirt on, you know, and they're all, you know, they all show up to work with their shirt on in their fields, and that's fantastic. It's just fantastic that they take their pride in their work. But yeah, so a couple of 10 milers to finish things off. So this is the challenging bit, because you will already have done 50 miles at this point. So you're going to have over 10 and then over 10 again, pretty much back to back. Whichever way you sort of do it, it's going to be a lot of mileage to finish off. But it's fairly easy going. I haven't met a car here on this road this morning. And one thing about the Spanish, their language, you need to pick up a few phrases before you go, because there's some places that there's no real English. A lot of these villages, a lot of these sort of cafe bars that do coffee, there's no English. So you need to pick up a few phrases, but the Spanish language, it's just poetry. It's just upbeat, you know. Every morning, you know, we get a bit of buenos dias, which is good morning, and hola for hello, and you know, everything's all gracias, thank you, and mucho gracias. And then, you know, when you're leaving people, it's ciao and adios, you know, and it's all upbeat and energetic, and it's just poetry. Whereas back home, it's all very it's all very subdued, you know. It's morning, you know, good night. It's all very subdued. But the Spanish, you know, they jump out of bed. It's all poetry in motion, you know, all uplifting, all energetic, which is great. You know. And it goes along with their breakfast, you know. Their breakfast is just all these amazing flavors, but you've all these people with all this energy, all these phrases, all the Spanish, you know, everything's all upbeat and chirpy. It's quite infectious. It's quite infectious. Everybody's even though it might not be the case, it sounds like everybody's happy to see you. Everybody's welcoming, because their language is so, you know, always uplifting and high pitched. So it's poetic, you know. So it's something to be envied. Something to be envied. It's great. So we've been walking down this country road here, and got all the corn along here. It's very popular. Corn is growing, seems to be everywhere, and so we're gonna make our way to Rua, 4 or 5 miles, and then Sigüeiro. That's our last big town before Santiago. So we're getting there. The pilgrims of Northern Europe, Celtic Camino, the Ingles Camino. Absolutely fantastic. It's been such a roller coaster so far. We still have 25 miles to go. Loads of wee villages, loads of people, lots of sights and memories. There was one memory back in Mino, where the beach was, and there was a summer scheme for kids, and they were all sort of broken up into groups of about 10, and they all had like a leader, like an adult leader, who had a, when I say adult, like a 19-year-old or 20-year-old, and they had like a vest on. And one of the challenges for the summer scheme that day was to find a pilgrim. And so as I was walking across the beach, I had this group running at me of kids, and I was thinking, what's happening? As you do. And then the leader, who spoke a bit of English, she says, oh no, we're looking for a peregrino, which is a pilgrim. We have to, you know, be the first person that gets a photograph. So I thought they wanted a photograph, you know, of their group. So I was like, oh, I'll take a photograph on your phone. No, we want a photograph with you. I was like, okay. So we did the photograph, so that was fine. But the problem was then there was like 5 or 6 different groups in the summer scheme. So I turned the corner, and then there was another group. We're like, oh, we need a photograph. And I was like, yeah, okay. And then another one, and another one. And then the final one, I think it was like 4 or 5 groups at this stage. They wanted a picture of my backpack with my shell. So I turned on my backpack, and at this stage I was like shattered. It was about closing in on 10 miles at this stage. So I willingly obliged. So somewhere out there is a summer scheme, and they have photographs, and I'm sure they're posting them to their social media and their WhatsApp and whatever it is, and that's my contribution to their summer scheme for this year. I was the peregrino, the pilgrim, that hopefully they got a prize, you know. Hopefully the one that got the shell photograph got the prize for some, you know, whatever the prize. Maybe everybody gets a prize these days, I don't know, but there we go. As a memory from the Celtic Camino right there. So right, onwards to Rua first, and then Sigüeiro, and then Santiago will be on the horizon. Let's keep it going. on the stretch between Rua and Sigüeiro, and it's a mixture between small roads and forest tracks. Forest tracks have nice trees on them. It is a long stretch, this one. It's 14 miles from Hospital de Bruma in Sigüeiro, and the last village, there's a coffee shop before Sigüeiro, but then there's it's about 12-13 kilometers with nothing. So there is a fountain just before the last village, so with a picnic area, so make sure you get your water filled up, and if you haven't had any breakfast, get something in the last village, or a coffee, because that's pretty much it until we get to Sigüeiro. So a big stretch. I think there's one fountain further on, but the route does bend into two, so it depends which one you go. So get your water filled up and prepare for the, I suppose, what will be 6-7 miles, and the heat's starting to pick up as we approach noon. So, but these country tracks all have trees which are fantastic, provide a bit of natural shade, yeah, so Sigüeiro, once we hit Sigüeiro, we'll be down to the last 16 kilometers, which is 10 miles, to bring it home to Santiago. And tomorrow is final day as we finish the pilgrimage on the Celtic Camino. 112, I think it's closer to 115 kilometers, but don't tell the tourist office. And 72 miles is probably closer to 75. So yeah, I think it's the route point to point might be right, but as you reach the villages and the wee towns and your accommodations and the coffee shops, adds a wee bit extra onto things, but that's okay. So we're back into the forest trail, and Sigüeiro, it's going to be no villages or towns, just country tracks all the way to the final town before Santiago. So let's keep it going. we're making good progress on our way to Sigüeiro, and the motorway is running parallel to this road. So just over there is the motorway. Can't even hear it. It's that quiet here. And this road pretty much tracks the whole way alongside the motorway. The official Camino route is a path along the motorway, so actually at the motorway. But one of the guidebooks, the guidebook Brierley, is fantastic. It's a really small, compact book, and one of his tips was to once you go under the motorway, the highway, don't immediately turn up onto the highway to follow the path along the side of the road. Keep going and you'll find this parallel road, which tracks the highway without having to deal with all the cars, and alongside the road, I would imagine, is probably quite tight in terms of space, plus if there was an accident or something on the highway. But so top tip, Brierley, keep going till you find this parallel, and this parallel, basically the Camino will come off the highway and it'll meet the official Camino route again. So really good tip. And Brierley has a series of books on all the Caminos. Sadly no longer with us. When I was reading the foreword of the Celtic Camino guidebook, it says that he passed away, but his passion was the Caminos, and he would update all of his guidebooks with the changes in like the cafes and the accommodations. And so as the Camino updated or changed, he revised, and his expertise means that he knows the old routes as well as the new routes. So as the Camino's sort of been remapped and redirected, I guess just to make it a bit more safer for the volumes of people on these routes these days compared to hundreds of years ago. So he's able to give you an idea of some of the sections that have kind of been rerouted, and then give alternatives to maybe use those alternatives to make it a bit more enjoyable experience. So top guidebook, fully recommend. I've been using it, and it the Celtic Camino, it has sections all the way from Ferrol and also A Coruña, so it covers both of the routes, and there's all the information in it. It's got accommodations and cafes and sites as well, so it'll outline various places to see, and water fountains. It's got the water fountains on it, which are great because in the morning when you want to get your water filled up, or like a stretch like today where it's a full 10 miles in this stretch to Sigüeiro where there's no villages or services for a long period of time, then you can see where to plan in your water fill up. So John Brierley is his name, and he was 75, and his series of guidebooks, top notch, absolutely fantastic, and they're quite compact, so compact with everything you need. It's not a heavy book, so you can have it in your backpack. So he died at 75 in 2023, quite recently, and his daughter Gemma I read in the foreword of one of the guidebooks, she's continuing on, updating the guidebooks and keeping the tradition alive for her dad. So it's absolutely fantastic, great story. All in all, great wee guidebook. It's been fantastic. But what a journey so far. The Celtic Camino, Spain, countryside, the trees, all the sights, all the wee villages have made it spectacular. So onwards to Sigüeiro. Quick check of the map. We made it all the way to Sigüeiro down here, and up here is Travesas, and that's where the trail from A Coruña and the pilgrims from Ferrol meet in Travesas. Just below that in this area is Hospital de Bruma, just not too far from Mesa de Venta, just in this area. And we travelled all the way down through the village of Rua, and Rua all the way down to Sigüeiro. So from Rua to Sigüeiro is a good 10 miles in distance, and there's not much service. There's a couple of water fountains, and there is a village just after Rua, and after that there's pretty much nothing. There's a big section that follows the highway, the motorway, and the guidebook does talk about rather than walking alongside the highway, you can come out slightly to the east and then follow it parallel down and join back up, which I found was fantastic. It saved being so close to all the traffic, and it was more out in the countryside. So we're now at Sigüeiro, and the distance all the way back up to Ferrol is a good 60 odd miles, and we are now 10 miles away from Santiago de Compostela. So 10 miles tomorrow, just slightly over 10 miles. It's 16.4 kilometers. So we're not just getting to Santiago, we're going right into the center of Santiago, where the cathedral is, and that's where the relics of the Apostle James, St. James, are. So that's the plan. So if we take a closer look at the map of Santiago, we'll be coming in from the north, the Gate de Pena. It's the only Camino that arrives through this gate, and it's the traditional entry of the Celtic Camino, Camino Ingles. The French Camino is coming in from the east, but the Celtic Camino we go through the Praza de Martino, and then once we reach the Praza de Immaculada, that's where the French Camino is joining up, coming in from the east. Then we're on our way to the Praza do Obradoiro, and that is the Praza in front of the cathedral, and that's where pilgrimage ends. So that's the plan, coming in from the north after 10 miles, just over 10 miles, and then we make our way to the front of the cathedral, and that'll be 75 miles, 115 kilometers, making our way to the final destination. So roll on tomorrow. Good morning. We have just left Sigüeiro, And final 10 miles to Santiago. It's come down to today 65 miles, 10 to go, and the adrenaline for the finish is what's gonna keep us going. All those miles accumulating over the last number of days, and then yesterday was over 10 miles into today. And as we leave Sigüeiro, we're on these forest tracks. There is a big main road from Sigüeiro to Santiago, but we'll be weaving close to it. But the majority of today is going to be on these sorts of tracks. Not as much main roads. And as we make our way to Santiago, we'll be coming in, approach the north side. And each of the different caminos, whether you're coming from Portugal or Spain or France or the Celtic Camino from the north, everybody's going to be arriving through different gates, different directions, which is fantastic. And we're all aiming for the cathedral, the plaza in front of the cathedral, and it's going to be a good feeling as we make it. 75 miles, 120, 115 kilometers, all that way from Ferrol. So the Irish pilgrims would have arrived at Ferrol in the boats, or those from North Europe, Scandinavia, England, Scotland, Ireland, all of those places, and would have walked all the way to Sigüeiro, and then on their final day faced with this same 10 miles to Santiago. What a pilgrimage. What a pilgrimage. It's when the relics of the Apostle James were discovered, people started to make the journey. But what a journey. Back in the days with no planes or cars, you would have arrived on the boat and then made your way south to Santiago, passing through all those little villages and all those small towns, and a lot of those churches. There's churches and there's crosses and historical buildings scattered all across the route, and a lot of those date back to the 1700s. So for the last 300 years, anybody making this route would have seen some of the same buildings I have, and that's what makes it fantastic. It's a cultural pilgrimage. A lot of people do it for religious reasons, but even just to experience, if nothing else, the Spanish culture, see a historical trail. That's enough if that's all you've made the journey for. So we're going to enjoy these forest tracks in the shade and the cool breeze. I'm sure it's going to get a lot brighter and warmer as we go forward. Quick mention, yesterday we had a bit of rain. Yesterday late afternoon, I'd already arrived in Sigüeiro, but if you're out in that, you would have needed a raincoat. Maybe not so much rain trousers, but if it had continued on for half an hour and you were out exposed, you would have needed some rain trousers. So yeah, it's been dry and warm. all of the days I've been walking, but I have seen rain, so pack for all occasions, just in case. So onwards to Santiago, and as we get further down this trail, the city will be in the distance, and we're almost there. Let's keep it going. We're into the last 5 miles on the way to Santiago, the Celtic Camino, and we've found ourselves in a farm meadow, and it's quite quiet, completely different from a city. So we're about 5 miles out, and I guess we're going to hit the outskirts of the city fairly soon. Probably the outskirts are probably industrial, like most cities, but for now it's just a nice meadow, bales of hay, nice wee stream. It's all fairly relaxed. But we've just passed our last services, so if you need to top up on water or snacks, use the facilities, toilets, etc. Then that's our last stop before Santiago. And yeah, that section from Sigüeiro is lots of country roads and paths. There is one section, just to be careful on the road. You get very close to the edge of the road, so just be careful on the traffic. And there's 2 routes out of Sigüeiro. One is the older trail, and the second is the newer waymarked trail. So just be careful on those. Depending on which guidebook you're using or which app you're using, depends which way it'll direct you. But the John Brierley guidebook is very clear on which one is waymarked and which has the more fading signs, because it's the older one. So we're back into the forest, and we should be coming up to some built up buildings soon. But yeah, that's a nice section. 10 miles from Sigüeiro. We've just passed the halfway point. Next stop is the gate into Santiago, and we're on our way to the cathedral. So this has been a fantastic trail. It doesn't have to have any sort of religious aspect to it. Just for the sake of having a hike from Ferrol to Santiago is a challenge in itself. And then whatever you want to add to that, whether it's religious, spiritual, searching your soul for a deeper meaning, you can add all of that in. And as they say, the pilgrimage is yours. Nobody walks the Camino for you. You do your own Camino, and you make it what you want it to be. So onwards to Santiago Cathedral. We are approaching Santiago itself, and almost at the end. 75 miles, multiple days, so let's keep it going. bye.